Bear, it seemed like last week you were getting increasingly more angry and agitated that the Big Ten champion might not get in the playoff, and here we sit and they're not.
Did Penn State score again?
Well, I think it did a lot of this and that.
Was that heartbreaking or what? 28-7. Then we got the lead. We kick a field goal. We miss that. And then the secondary that's been good all year just make a play.
Took a little nap on Saturday
Make a
night.
play tackle. It was ridiculous. It was just like they were playing toss and catch.
But are you mad that Penn State's not in now?
No, because I don't think they would have matched up against Alabama any better.
I thought you were going to be mad.
I was, but
he changed his mind.
I changed my mind.
If it was the Badgers, you would have
been
been
Badgers,
mad.
I'd have been mad. Yeah. Instead, we get to go to the Weed Eater Cotton Bowl, or whatever the heck it is, where tickets are $2 and
play against directional Michigan,
Western Michigan.
Yes.
Who shout out to Ben Armour, former Parker standout, who was a punter there, and that's the only time I've ever mentioned the word Western Michigan football in a sentence before.
Well, they're going to row their boat all the way to the Dallas Jerry World. So
all right.
We'll maybe
better touch on that a little bit.
Better get more. Yeah. Try to just get all of it out so you can get out of your system and
let's get on to hoops.
Get on to the hoops season.
Yeah.
That's on this week's episode of Extra Points. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Extra Points. I'm Eric Schmoldt. This is John Barry. He's sort of irritated, but not as mad as I thought he was going to be.
Well, I got over it.
Here was my thing Saturday night, and it started at the end of the second quarter as they were going into halftime, and they had like a minute and 15 seconds.
No
left.
timeouts.
3 timeouts.
Didn't use any of them.
No,
I agree.
Why?
I don't know. And I thought this the first time. I thought, well, yeah, we got outplayed the second half, but I thought we got outcoached. I thought they made better adjustments than we did. A couple of times the running game was fine, and then we went away from it. And the last drive, you put the ball in the hands of Bart Houston to make plays when, the running game had been pretty solid. So just disappointing. I mean, I don't think the better team won. I don't think the better team won, but for whatever reason, the second half, our secondary, which has been pretty solid, just did not show up. I mean, just poor play after poor play. Not tackling, going after the ball when they should have just made the tackle, trying to make a tackle when they should have gone after the ball, and just, I mean, how many long bombs did they complete? Seemed like 100.
I certainly was sick of looking at McSorley do his stupid touchdown dance.
Yeah, let's do this or whatever. Okay, and swing a golf club or swing a bat, whatever he was doing. Yeah, well, say hello to, who do they get, USC?
Yeah, they're going to be underdogs. Yeah.
They'll get beat.
For as mad as they are that they didn't make the playoff, even though they beat Ohio State head-to-head and won the Big Ten championship, now they're the underdog in the Rose Bowl against USC. So I don't really know what that all means, but pretty clear that the Badgers weren't going to get in even if they won that game. So I guess in that sense I'm not really all that angry, but I'm not interested at all in this Western Michigan Cotton Bowl game either. So,
and it sounds like the way ticket prices are, and you had talked about parking, you could get a ticket and parking for $14.
Not bad.
That's not bad. That wouldn't even give you a cab ride to some
then
of the
you'd get
games
into Jerry World and you'd pay $15 for a beer probably.
Yeah, exactly, and wouldn't be able to see anything, so you'd watch the whole game on the video board, and that's too bad because it was such high hopes for going into that game, and even in the Rose Bowl would have been a great consolation. We'd probably played USC, and there's nothing better than the Rose Bowl, but it is what it is. I mean,
now it's just like it's a no-win situation.
Yeah, it is.
Because if they win, people are like, whatever, they beat
Western Michigan. Whoop-de-doo.
And if they lose, then people are like, what in the world? They lost to...
They lost to Western Michigan.
Right.
Yeah, the Broncos, who are... what city are they in? Kalamazoo?
Yes.
That is right. Kalamazoo? Yeah. All right, okay.
Kazoo or
nothing against the Broncos. They've had a great year. They're undefeated, but I couldn't name anybody they played in their own conference because I don't know anybody in their own conference.
What? So Buffalo? Lance Leipold?
Ball State in
Lance
that conference?
Leipold.
Lance didn't have a very good year either.
No, but I think he played against.
Speaking of Lance, what happened to our Warhawks?
Well, it was a rough Saturday all around here.
It was a tough Saturday.
Lost to John Carroll. So John Carroll took out Mount Union in the regular season, took out Whitewater in the playoffs. I guess if you do that, you deserve a spot in the national semifinals.
No, we
got to get Oshkosh.
Oshkosh, yes, by gosh.
You got to.
I see those Purple Raiders are still there.
Still there on the other side of the bracket.
Somebody beat them, please. Somebody. I don't care who it is.
It would be kind of interesting.
I don't care if it's John Carroll or...
I would be intrigued enough to watch John Carroll Mount Union
Pete
rematch.
Carroll or
right?
whoever they're going to play. I don't care who it is. Somebody beat them.
Oh, man. Yeah, that pretty much puts the end of football.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
Poopy on that.
If you want if you want to watch that bowl game, you can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure we'll tune in.
And not only that, but it's noon on Monday, January 2nd, because they don't want to go head-to-head with the NFL.
Right.
So
it's all just
everybody will be in school. People will be back at work. And I don't think you're going to have a lot of people calling in sick like they might have if they were playing somewhere else. So
I got to watch this.
I got to watch the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah,
it's not. Why did they call the Cotton Bowl is played at the Cotton Bowl? Now this isn't the Cotton Bowl. This is the Heart of Dixie Bowl is now played at the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl is now played at Jerry's World. So I can't figure it out.
Well, bowls. There's too many bowls.
There's too many bowls.
Well, we can get into that another week, but yeah, that's enough for football.
That's enough. Let's talk Badger hoops.
Football in the rear view.
Badger hoops.
You want to talk Badger hoops?
We better talk Badger hoops. They've looked good the last two games. Syracuse second half, and then Oklahoma that second half. They were dynamite. I mean, and Nigel Hayes was Big Ten Player of the Week. That's the Nigel that we knew he was capable of playing that way, and he's going to have to play that way if they're going to go anywhere.
Well, and he kind of showed two different ways that he can play. I mean, he showed against Syracuse that he can pass and distribute,
almost
and
had a triple
facilitate, and then against Oklahoma, he scored 28 points and did it that way. So that's kind of what we need to see. I think everybody was a little perturbed with him over the first week or two of the season.
I think he was perturbed with himself. He admitted that.
Nobody knew exactly kind of what he was trying to do, and he was trying to do too much and this and that. But I mean, I think if he goes into these games and knows, what his role is going to be game by game, he's got a chance to be something pretty special.
And the funny part is, in a lot of the situations like that, who was the one person that got at him the most? His mother. Mom got after him, and Nigel said, I had it coming, and he said, she told me to be more aggressive, and he was, and to, just be a part of the team and not try to be the team. And I think she was right in saying that, and he took it to heart, and he played great back-to-back games, and they're gonna get better. Trice is really impressive as a freshman. I think for the thing right now for them is they got to find that depth. They got to find those 7, 8, 9 guys that can come off the bench and give them enough minutes, and especially if they ever get in foul trouble. But played really well. Oklahoma the second half, they looked dynamite. Lon Kruger couldn't say enough good things about him, and Lon Kruger's been around a long time, and he said, I am going to really enjoy watching this team play and to see how far they go, and I hope he's right.
Lon's like the nicest coach in
he is.
the country, I
Probably
think.
is, yeah.
Not surprising there, but yeah, they looked pretty good. And now Marquette on Saturday.
Marquette on Saturday with Idaho State on Wednesday night.
I would have taken a loss to Syracuse or Oklahoma if it meant for sure that we get Marquette.
Yeah, I'm not leaving the house if they lose to Marquette. It's not happening.
Well, you're going to have to.
I know.
We got a big game Saturday night.
We do have a big game Saturday night. Boy, we're really segueing really well into the next things, and we're talking about girls basketball. No, but
Craig Parker
Saturday.
The girls,
and,
the first crosstown basketball matchup of the year, 7:30. They moved it because of the Marquette game. They were going to play it in the afternoon, but 7:30 now, and we'll get a chance to kind of see two teams that they're kind of trying to. Well, they're not really necessarily in similar boats anymore because I think Craig
has found himself
the win over Sun Prairie was a big one. I think that kind of showed the young group, hey, we can win. When we work as a team, we can beat some of these teams. Sun Prairie, picked probably to finish top three or four in the Big Eight.
Yep.
So that was a big win, I think, to get some confidence. And now they go into this week, and they got to go against Middleton first, which Middleton's the favorite in the Big Eight for sure.
And should be.
And then they get Parker on Saturday. So a big week for them. The Vikings, on the other hand, have had an eternity off, it seems like, about 10 days off between games. They're kind of trying to find themselves a little bit. And they've got this is a big stretch for them. They get Sun Prairie on Thursday. Then Craig on Saturday, then Middleton. And, I mean, that's a gauntlet right there.
It is. And I think when you look at Parker, I haven't got a chance to see Craig play, but certainly have kept close tabs with the stories that you've covered and written about. But I think with the Cougars, you look at them in the sense that they've lost a lot. And I think what tells you how much they've lost is when you look at the impact that Delaney Schonenberger and Annie Schumacher are having at lacrosse. I mean, both of them are playing a lot of minutes. Schonenberger just tied a school record with 6 3-pointers. So, you don't think about that. And then 2 years ago was Allie Hughes. And, you don't think about it, but you don't have that scoring punch, it makes a difference. And the Cougars, I think, are still trying to find that consistent scoring, whether it be from the younger kids or some of the veterans.
But the Sun Prairie game kind of showed a little bit what they can do, because they were able to get 3 scorers into double figures, Emily Pierce, Natalie Carlson, and freshman Cassie Goswick. And I think that helps.
That's what they got to
When
have.
they're not going to be able to go into a game and say we have somebody on this team who's going to get us 20.
Right.
You got to spread it around a little bit, and I think also just being at home and getting a win like that and having those freshmen play well. Hannah Dunleavy played pretty well. Brooke Parkhurst had a key moment when they were kind of down early.
Yep.
I think that should go a long way in kind of boosting their confidence.
And I agree. And I think we said all along that we thought both city schools by the end of the year were going to be, pretty decent teams. And I still think that. I think the problem with Parker, on the other hand, is they've got the established score. They've got Julia Hartwig. They know what she's capable of, but they also know that teams are going to double and triple team her to make other kids beat them. And right now, they haven't found that other score that they need to find. And whether it's a Cam Blazer, a J.C. Benway, whatever it might be, they've got to find that.
Forrestall, the night that I saw him play, had a bunch of threes, which helped.
And it's just that consistency and finding identity. And again, you know what you're going to get with Parker. Julie Hartwig's one of the top players, top sophomores in the state. There's no question about that. But they've got to find other means to beat teams because, I think the East game, she didn't feel well. She was sick. Didn't play a lot in the second half, and East took it to them pretty easily. And a big test for Parker against Craig on Saturday. A team they haven't beaten, and it's been a while. I mean, Craig has won quite a few in the city series, and that's really turned the tables to where it was back when Parker was in their heyday with Tom Clawiter, when they were kind of in the same situation as the Badgers are in the bowl game. They had nothing to gain and everything to lose because they were expected to win. And I think, I would say Craig certainly will be the favorite on Saturday night. But, Parker-Craig games the last few years have been down to the wire. It's just Craig has found a way to win.
And they don't maybe have the player, any
Viking killer Schumacher.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, the Viking Slayer or whatever.
She was too.
They're not there anymore, so they got if it comes down to a close game, you don't know who's going to have the ball in their hands.
Right.
And so we'll see. I would imagine it's going to be another close one.
I would think so. It's Parker's much bigger. With Blazer and Hartwig, you've got 2 6'2" girls, and Craig can't match that. But I think Craig, is a little bit more balanced up front in the backcourt, and I think it'll be a good game. I would think it'd be a good crowd, and we'll see where those two teams are at.
The other kind of girls teams, especially obviously the big one's been Whitewater early on, and I think you got a chance to go see them play at Edgerton. And I guess just your thoughts on them here in the early goings of the season.
Well, I think in talking to Judy Harms, she felt the same way. Is they're going to live and die with Miriama Smith-Traore and certainly Rebecca Schumacher, but guard play is going to be pivotal for them because some teams are going to try to press them and try to make them play 90 feet and maybe tire out the big girls. And, that's probably what I would do, but you got to have guards to do that. And to break that press, you got to have good guard play. And I think Coach Harms right now feels like, their guards are coming along. They're playing better. They got off to a great start against an Edgerton team that's not bad. But Whitewater came in, scored the first 8, and really I think Edgerton cut it to 5, but that was as close as they got. So really the road to the Rock still runs through Whitewater, and I don't think that's going to change this year. But I think the key for Whitewater down the road is guard play, is what they get from their guards, because Smith-Traore is going to get her 15 points, 15 rebounds a game. There's no question about that. Rebecca Schumacher is just a nice player who can hurt you from inside or go to the basket. But I think for them the X factor right now is Reynolds, a girl that played really well against Edgerton, and Judy Harms said she's really come along and really elevated her game. And when you've got 3 quality scoring options, that's tough to guard.
It's kind of weird. We're almost a month into the girls' season already.
I know, it is.
The boys now, too, a couple of weeks, kind of getting a little better chance to see where things kind of stand. The Craig boys, the first probably 3 halves of their season was kind of like, what in the world is going on?
Here,
and then I think the 3 halves since then, I think have been like, okay, this is what we expected, and they've settled in a little bit. And they've got some big games this week with Sun Prairie and
Middleton, yeah,
coming up. So kind of get a chance to establish themselves as one of the teams to beat in the Big 8.
Yep.
As in the early goings here. They lost to Edgewood, but they've picked up 2 road wins since then. So I think maybe
quality road wins.
Starting
too.
to settle in just
Yep.
a little bit and feel a little
I
better.
think with Craig, the thing is you can't rest on your laurels, and I think those kids know how good they are. I mean, they should be because they're, when you bring back all 5 starters from a team that was pretty solid last year, your expectations are high, but you still got to go out and compete, and you got to go out and play hard. And I think once those kids learn to share the basketball and not worry about who's getting the points and who's getting all the accolades, I think they're going to be pretty good. And I think that's what you saw in those 2 games. It was a pretty balanced scoring attack, where whether it was Santrell or Adam Anhold or Jake Negus or Nick Lynch or whoever it might be, it doesn't matter who's the high scorer. If they spread the wealth and share the ball and do things the right way, it's a good team. It really is, because they've got everything covered. I think maybe the downfall for Craig is, and we'll see when they play some teams with size, because Anhold's big at 6'7", 6'8", but then they don't have a lot of size after that, and you got to be able to rebound. But I think as far as the backcourt and taking care of the basketball, they've got good experience in there, and Santrell's certainly capable of taking games over if that's the case. But the other side of town, the Vikings, it's going to be a tough road. I've got to see him play now, and you can't fault the effort. Keith Miller's got those kids playing hard, but they just don't have a lot of basketball experience, and let's face it, in the Big 8 conference, you got to have that, and the Vikings just don't. And they've got kids that'll play hard and go out and give you everything they got, but
at some point you got to score points.
At some point you got to score points, and right now they're having trouble doing that. And it's puzzling and troubling, because I think I expected them to be a little bit more competitive, and maybe they will be, but right now that's a team in search of an identity, and they've got to find one. They got to find one quickly, because the Big 8 season is here. It's upon us, and
you don't get a break.
No, you don't.
Anything to start the year.
Nope.
It's pretty much you just dive right into the
right
deep
into
end.
it. Yep.
The other stories, I think. Well, I mean, even around the state, the big story so far has been Brendan Banks over at Evansville, because he's been either the top scorer or one of the top scorers in the state so far. He's got a 42-point game, a 38-point game.
He's averaging 35 a game, and
they've got wins over Lakeside and East Troy already. I mean, those are nice wins to start a season,
They are.
Especially when you've got Reese out and you're getting some young guys that you're trying to bring along.
Right.
Picking up those wins is a pretty big deal to start the year.
It is a big deal, and Steve Krupke went into that season knowing that they were going to be a little shorthanded to start out, because Reese had some minor knee surgery before the season started, coming off a football injury, so he wasn't available, and and they lost Rakowski, who was such a pivotal player in the post for them. But you and I both thought that Banks had a chance to really shine this year and take over, and thus far he's been able to do that. And I'm going to get a chance to see him play tonight against McFarland, a team that's 2-0 as well. But I think with Banks and the kids that they got back with Milky and Mogg and those other kids, they're going to be formidable, and they're going to be a tough out in the tournament. But then I think the team that's kind of a little bit under the radar right now is Beloit Turner. And I think Alec Fruin was the guy that we talked about. He was our player of the year last year, but Mr. Villarreal, came out and scored 30-something in their game. So
I think the big thing for me is just that the Evansville's played some tougher opponents here early on.
Yep.
So that's why I kind of mentioned them first.
Yep.
But I think Turner definitely
Yep.
the favorite in the South.
And Clinton's a team to watch, too.
Yes, that's true.
Yep.
Clinton Turner games, I think you should circle those on your calendar. Whenever you're going to get a crossover with Evansville, those games, you should circle those
and get a chance to watch, because there's some great talent.
Should be some fun games there.
There's plenty of kids that are going to be playing at the next level. I'm not saying Division I, but there's kids that are going to play college basketball somewhere.
The Wrestlers got underway over the past week here.
Yep.
I'd say pick up the Gazette this week, because you're working on a little
preview story.
So that'll be good to just kind of see where things stand at the beginning of the year for wrestling.
A lot of talent in the area.
The swimmers are getting into gear here. They started with their big meets over the
Parker
weekend.
Craig going this Friday, and the Vikings look like they might have a chance to break. I think it's a 16-year dual meet loss to the Cougars, and the Cougars down a little bit this year with only 13 kids on the roster, but always a good meet. And fortunately this year there's not one of the Madison powerhouses competing with them, which kind of takes a little bit of luster away from it. So that's Friday at Parker, and gymnastics gets going on Saturday with the Craig Invitational, and boys and girls hockey. Two area teams: the Rock County Fury, the girls co-op team, and the Bluebirds, the boys co-op team, both
off to pretty decent starts.
Starts and teams to keep an eye on.
maybe we can talk some more hockey next week.
Yep.
Shout out to the Jets as well, home again this weekend.
The Magicians coming to town.
Friday and Saturday night, so go check them out at the Ice Arena. And yeah, we'll talk hockey next week.
All right.
We got to get into some
Let's
hockey
get to
a little
some
bit.
hockey.
We might even talk a little Badger hockey because we got some things there.
We got some going.
Keep an eye on,
Alexis
so.
Mallerman had another good game for the Badger women, who are ranked number 1, and had I think a goal and assist over second-ranked Minnesota. So
we'll get into the ice next week. So make sure you join us. Let us know what you think of the show by letting us know on sports@gazetteextra.com or YouTube or iTunes or Twitter. And thanks to Dave Vaughn for producing the show.
As always.
Kevin McLeod for the tunes. And we'll be back here to look at that hockey stick out next week.
Take care, everybody. Go Bucky.
Make sure we talk some hockey.
That's right.
See you later, everybody.